Hey guys, it is Nisky here, back with another episode of Hockey Talk, and today we are going to be covering the 2019 Stanley Cup preview. So, coming out of the West, after beating the San Jose Sharks in 6 games, we had the St. Louis Blues, and from the East, we have the Boston Bruins, who have recently swept the Carolina Hurricanes. So, starting off with the breakdowns. On offense, the Blues' top 3 scorers of the playoffs are Jaden Schwartz with 16 points, Ryan O'Reilly with 14, and Tarasenko tied with other players at 13, as well as the Bruins with their top 3 scorers as Brad Marchand at 18, David Pastrnak with 15, and David Krejci with 14. Now, the Bruins are a very offensive team, so I give them the advantage in this category, and that's how they've been relying. They've been getting a lot of very high-scoring games and then just shutting down their opponents. So now, over onto the defensive side, I decided to go with plus-minus as the main stat because that shows whether or not you're giving up goals on the ice. So the top 3 leaders for the Blues in plus-minus are Oscar Sundqvist at +7, Jaden Schwartz at +6, and Colton Parayko as well as at +6. And for the Bruins, their top 3 are Zdeno Chara at +11, Danton Heinen at +10, and Charlie Coyle at +9, tied with other members of the team. Based on these, I would also give the advantage to Boston in the defensive category because they just don't give up a lot of goals. Their defense has been playing really hard. They have a ton of hits throughout the playoffs, and the plus-minus is also showing for all the work that they've done. On to goaltending. For Jordan Binnington, he has played 19 games in these playoffs. He has allowed 46 goals while having a 2.36 GAA and a .914 save percentage. And Tuukka Rask has had some unreal numbers throughout these playoffs. He has had 17 games played with only 32 goals allowed, a 1.84 GAA, and a .942 save percentage. That is a very unreal stat. However, I will give the advantage in this one to Jordan Binnington. The rookie goaltender is the reason that the Blues are in the playoffs. He got them out of the hole that they dug themselves into. On January 3rd, the Blues were the last place team in the NHL with 250-1 odds of winning the Stanley Cup, and now they are 4 wins away from doing so. So I believe that if there's going to be one guy who can get them there, it will be Jordan Binnington, and that's why I give him the advantage in the goaltending category. On to special teams. Blues power play has been 19.4%, their penalty kill at 78%, and they have not scored a shorthanded goal in the playoffs, whereas the Bruins have had a staggering and unreal 34% on the power play, an 86.3% penalty kill, which is still really good. They've even had one shorthanded goal to go along with it. Based on these stats, I would give the advantage to the Bruins here. They have just dominated on both sides. However, they did play some of the worst teams in the league, some of the not as good teams in the playoffs in penalty kill. So that might be why the power play numbers are a little inflated. Like Carolina allowed a lot of power play goals throughout the playoffs, and they played them in the Eastern Finals. So that may have led to a bit of inflation, but they are just so strong up front that I think the offense will be able to score no matter the level of penalty kill that they're playing. So now, even after everything I just said and all the stats I just analyzed, I will be going with the St. Louis Blues as my Stanley Cup champion, with this Conn Smythe going to Jordan Binnington. Even though the stats favor Boston heavily, there's just something about the Blues this year. It happened with my Washington Capitals 1 year ago. They didn't want to fail again. The Caps, they had gotten over the hump. They had finally reached the East Finals. They spent no time wasting it, and they won the Cup by defeating Tampa Bay in 7 games and then handling the Knights very well in 5 in a series which they were projected to lose. And I think that this might happen again because the Blues have never won a Stanley Cup in franchise history. And I think that the same thing is going to happen. They're going to do everything they can to make sure that they can capitalize on what their and possibly only chance could be at winning a Stanley Cup in the near future. Although I think Jordan Binnington will definitely be the guy who leads them there if they do win. This has been NiskyCap with Hockey Talk edition. Click to the right for another episode of Hockey Talk, and click to the left of my channel icon to subscribe. Nice. Goodbye.